Hi, this is Donald, and this is my review of Art of Over the Garden Wall by Sean Edgar and Patrick McHale. This is the art book for the Cartoon Network miniseries Over the Garden Wall, which ran in 2014 and won an Emmy in 2015. Over the Garden Wall, just as a brief summary, is about two boys who become lost in a strange magical land, and it's kind of like their pilgrimage or their journey to try and find their way back home. This is actually a very short series. It's a mini-series, so there's only 10 episodes total, and each episode's 11 minutes long, which means you can actually sit back and watch this entire mini-series in about the same time for a movie. Regarding the physical copy, I really enjoyed the size and the coloring, and the paper was very nice as well. This is probably my favorite art book so far, just the way it was organized and laid out. So the content of the art book. The art book goes through a lot of the history of the show. Now, this is a show that was floating around for about 10 years before it was actually released. It actually had a fair amount of time to properly develop, change, and mature. The art book shows some of the concepts from a very early stage and walks the reader through the journey of this story. Eventually, it goes through each episode and the associated artwork and some of the design choices they made. Because the development took a while before it started to roll, there's a lot of backstory involved as well, which I appreciated. Some of the story and some discussion about the story is also included in the text as well, because it also informs the purpose of the artwork and why they drew things a certain way. I can definitely say by reading this book, I did gain new insight, knowledge, and appreciation for the show. And I also learned a couple new things that I did not realize about the show as well. I also felt like I had a better understanding of the animation process in general, just for TV shows. The book did a very good job explaining and laying out all the many processes and the various procedures that need to happen to get from concept to actual artwork that moves on the paper. Also, because this wasn't a huge show or anything, they had to keep the teams pretty small. And it had a very homely feeling to it. Just the artwork and also the way they talk about each other and organize, it just had a very comfortable feeling to it. A little hard to describe. I enjoyed the numerous character sketches, the pre-production, the post-production, the revisions of the artwork, the storyboards, the full backgrounds, the story discussions, why they went with certain designs, what was too difficult to animate, what did Cartoon Network say was okay and not okay. It was a very interesting read to me. I definitely found it fun to read. It wasn't a chore to get through this book. It was fun and engaging and beautiful to look at. I found the book to be lovely. Would I recommend this book? I would recommend this book to anyone who is a fan of the series, even if you're not into the artwork or art. I think it's a perfect book for a fan where it just talks about the creation of the show in general, and I think any fan of the series will appreciate it. I don't think there was a single thing I disliked about the book. I enjoyed this book more than the art of the Avatar book. I felt this book was it felt more organic and down to earth, like actually reading someone's sketchbook, if that makes sense. While the Avatar book was definitely more clear and sterile feeling, more everything's laid out perfectly and it's neatly spaced. The Over the Garden Wall book was definitely more chaotic, but not in a bad way. It felt more natural to me. I read this book and came out liking the show even more. And if you haven't watched the show before, I would actually recommend you just go out and watch the show. I think there's a lot to enjoy about the show for all ages, adult, children, teenager as well. And if you like the show, maybe it's worth getting the book as well. And that is my review of Art of Over the Garden Wall. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and maybe you agree or disagree. Thanks.